bercanda.
Oh, hi. Wait a minute. Who are you?
A few moments later.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Perkenalkan, nama saya M.RAGHIB Ghifari dari Prodi Manajemen. NPM saya 2641185. Kali ini saya akan menjelaskan materi tentang konsep permintaan dan penawaran serta elastisitas permintaan dan penawaran. Nah, di materi kali ini saya akan menjelaskan materi tentang demand and supply concept and demand and supply elasticity. Oke, kita langsung saja ke materinya. Introduction. Today, I would like to present about the concept of demand and supply elasticity. This topic are very important because they explain how prices are formed in the market and how consumer and producer react to price change. We experience this concept in our daily lives, whether we realize it or not. For example, when the price of rice increases, people may buy less or switch to other foods. At the same time, producers may increase production because higher price can generate more profit. Through this presentation, we will understand the basic concept of demand, supply, market, equilibrium, and elasticity. Okay, next. What is demand? Apa sih demand itu? Demand atau permintaan is the quantity of goods or service that consumers are willing and able to buy at different price level during a certain period. One of the most important principles is the law of demand, which states when the price of a product increases, the quantity demanded decreases. On the other hand, when the price decreases, the quantity demanded increases, assuming other factors remain constant. This happens because consumers always try to maximize their satisfaction while minimizing their expense. For example, imagine the price of a cup of coffee decreased from Rp25.000 ke Rp18.000. Many people will be interested akan membeli kopi more often because it become more affordable. However, if the price increase significantly, some consumer may reduce their purchase or choose another beverage. Next. Factor affecting demand. Besides price, demand is also influenced by several other factors, The first factor is consumer income. When people income increase, they usually buy more products, especially normal goods. The second factor is taste and preference. For example, if bubble tea become a trend on social media, demand for bubble tea will increase. Another factor is the price of related goods, such as substitute goods and complementary goods. For example, tea can substitute coffee. If coffee become expensive, consumer akan beralih ke teh. Meanwhile, printers and printer ink are complementary goods. If printer sale increase, demand for printer ink will also increase. Other factors include population growth, advertising, consumer expectation, and seasonal change. Next, what is supply? Now, let's move to supply. Supply atau penawaran is the quantity of goods or service that producers are willing and able to sell at different price level. The law of supply states, when the price increases, producers are willing to supply more goods. When the price decreases, producers supply fewer goods. The reason is simple. Higher price usually mean higher profit, encouraging producer to increase production. For example, if the selling price of smartphone rises, manufacturer will try to produce more smartphone to gain greater revenue. Next, factor affecting supply. Supply is not only affected by price. One important factor is production cost. If raw material price increase, producer may reduce production because costs become higher. Technology is another factor. Better technology allows producers to produce goods faster and at lower cost. Government atau pemerintah policies also influence supply through taxes and subsidies. Weather conditions are especially important for agriculture. Heavy rain, flood, or droughts can reduce crop production and decrease supply. Finally, the number of produce in the market also affects total supply. Next, market equilibrium. Now, let's discuss market equilibrium. Market equilibrium is the point where quantity demanded equals quantity supplied. At this point, the market reaches a balance because consumers buy exactly what producers sell. There is no shortage and no surplus. For example, if consumer want to buy 1,000 botol of water and producer supply exactly 1,000 bottle, the market reach equilibrium. If demands become higher than supply, price usually increase. If supply become higher than demands, price tend, tend to decrease. This interaction between demand and supply determines the market price. Next, what is elasticity? Apa sih elasticity itu? Next, let's learn about elasticity. Elasticity measures how responsive consumer and producer are to change in price. In simple words, elasticity answers the question, how much will buying or selling behavior change if price change? Economists divide elasticity into two main categories: price elasticity of demand and then price elasticity of supply. Elasticity is useful for businesses because it helps determine pricing strategies. Government also use elasticities when deciding tax policies. Next, price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand measure how much quantity demanded change when price change. There are three main types. First is elastic demand. This means consumers are very sensitive to price change. Luxury goods like branded shoes, expensive smartphone, or vacation usually have elastic demand. Second is inelastic demand. Consumers continue buying the product even if price increase. For example, include rice, medicine, electricity, and fuel, because there are basic negotiations. Third is unit elastic demand, where the price percentage change in quantity demands equal the percentage change in price. Next, price elasticity of supply. Now let's discuss supply elasticity. Supply elasticity measures how responsive producers are to change in price. If product can quickly increase production when price rise, supply is called elastic. Manufactured products usually have elastic supply because factories can increase production relatively quickly. On the other hand, agricultural products usually have inelastic supply. For example, if rice price suddenly increases today, farmer cannot harvest tomorrow because rice needs several months to grow. Therefore, supply cannot increase immediately. Next, conclusion. To conclude this presentation, demand represents consumer willingness and ability to buy goods. Supply reference producer willingness and ability to sell goods. The interaction between demand and supply creates the market equilibrium price. Elasticity explains how sensitive consumer and producer are to change in price. Understanding this concept is very important because they help business make better decisions, help government design effective economic policies, and help consumers make smarter purchasing decisions. Sekian penjelasan materi dari saya. Terima kasih. Sekian penjelasan materi dari saya. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.